Then we're going to work together in the latter part of the morning on accurate empathic listening. We're going to use a set of very simple responses. I heard you say that several of them had been to university, yet they didn't look like the people in this room.
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard you say that you felt slightly worried when they entered the room.
Yeah.
I heard that.
I heard you say that the people who had asked you to do it had asked you before the group to feel whether, like, to ask you whether you were comfortable with doing it, or whether you had done it before.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you for being our teacher.
See how easy it is for everybody, for all of us, to jump from what we heard to what we conclude.
I noticed that.
I noticed that you changed your voice when you did an impression of the driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed you did a different accent for the bus driver.
I noticed that you got a big smile when you said that it snowed.
I noticed you sped up in pace when you were talking about the rush and everyone going from one bus to the other bus.
I noticed that you found this situation humorous, of everyone running off the bus.
I noticed that what?
The situation was humorous. She found the situation funny.
Okay. What we're noticing is more just things about her body, or her voice,
So
or
just
you smiled as
I noticed that when you talked about the snow, you gripped your hands together like this, even though you had a cup in one of them.
I noticed that you, when you said that they were Dutch, you suddenly kind of looked off into the middle distance and then thought that your friend had said something different, and you articulated that and then continued the story.
I noticed that a strand of your hair was bouncing up and down as you spoke.
I noticed that you crossed your legs and sat back when you finished the story.
I noticed that you used a different voice when you were doing the voice of the Dutch guys. You changed your accent.
Yeah. I noticed that you put one hand, held your arm when you talked about the guys who hadn't paid.
I noticed that your voice went quite quiet and quick when you were saying, but my boyfriend disagrees, about them being Dutch.
I noticed that you continued to refer to them as Dutch, just like that.
I feel when you said so-and-so, so that you can get a feeling response. You must have felt a bit like you were in an episode of Fawlty Towers.
Yes.
Yeah, you felt uncertain how to respond. Are we being dissed? Should we fight back? Are we being paranoid? Should we lighten up?
Yeah.
You got fed up when you wanted to leave and find your taxi.
Yes.
I think you might have felt confused as to what his reasons for doing this, for kind of acting this way, were, whether it was kind of what it was motivated by.
You must have felt a bit intrigued into what he was thinking, like his reasoning for saying these comments. Who was he?
Felt compelled to say something.
Yes.
I think you might have felt maybe not a conflict, but like a difference in feeling to some of your friends. So maybe some of them didn't want to say something, maybe you wanted to say something. But no,
Or vice versa, yeah.
You must have felt, even if only privately at some moment, are we behaving in a bizarre
Yes.
Yeah.
And I imagine that you must have felt.
I think it's a strange one, but I think you feel in retrospect you did the right thing.
Yeah, you did.
You must have felt quite worried when you saw cracks start to appear in the relationship.
Very, yeah.
I imagine you felt frightened to confront the obsessive one about the impact of her behaviour.
But everything that was said was really true, was really, felt really...
So they did a good job.
They did a really good job, yeah, definitely. And I was surprised at how much you picked up on as well, like little things. I was like, oh yeah, I felt like that.
Are there any emotions that we missed, or any moments where there was something else?
Good question.
The biggest thing actually that you picked up on was the actually being really scared to actually confront it. That was probably the biggest emotion, but you did pick that up, like the feeling really scared to actually stand up to her and say we're going to have to move. That was, but everything else I think you picked up.
So we'll gradually build the categories of empathic listening, complicating and developing our responses, but always checking them out with each other.